Hello dear kids, welcome to English class. Now open your Honeydew book. In this book, open page number 14, chapter 1, the best Christmas present in the world. Earlier we have done part number 1 and part number 2. Today we will start part number 3. So let's start. In this chapter, the writer is saying, I folded the letter again and slipped it carefully back into its envelope. I kept awake all night. By morning I knew what I had to do. I drove into Bridport, just a few miles away. I asked a boy walking his dog where Copper Beaches was. House number 12 turned out to be nothing but a burned out shell. The roof gaping, the window boarded up. I knocked at the house next door and asked if anyone knew whereabouts of Mrs. Macpherson. Oh yes, said the old man in his slippers. The writer is saying that he folded the letter again and slipped it carefully where it belonged, that is envelope. He kept awoke all night. By morning he knew where he had to go. He drove to Bridport, just a few miles away. He saw a boy walking his dog. He asked him where Copper Beaches was. House number 12 turned out to be nothing but a burned out shell, means destroyed by fire. The roof gaping, the window boarded up. He knocked at the house next door and asked if anyone knew the whereabouts of Mrs. Macpherson. He knocked next house, neighboring house, and asked them where Mrs. Macpherson lived. Said the old man in his slippers. The old man was wearing slippers. He said, yes, I know. He knew well. He is saying, she is an old lovely lady, a bit muddle-headed, but her age she was entitled to be, wasn't she? A house 101 years old. She had been in the house when the house caught fire. She was in the house. No one really knew where the fire came from. But it could well have been candles. Everyone is thinking that it is due to candles. She used candles rather than electricity because she thinks that electricity is expensive. The fireman got her just in time. Now she was in nursing home. The neighbor told the writer. Burlington House on the Dorchester Road on the other side of the town. He found Burlington House nursing home easily enough. There was paper chains up in the hallway and lighted Christmas trees stood in the corner with a lobstick sided on top. He said that he was a friend who came to visit Mrs. Macpherson and bring her a Christmas present. He saw into the dining room. Everyone was wearing a paper hat and singing. The matron had a hat too and seemed happily enough to see me. She even offered the mince piece. She offered the writer a mince pie. She walked along the writer to the corridor. She is saying Mrs. Macpherson is not with the others. She rather confused today, so we thought it is best if she had a good rest. She has no family, no one visits, so I am sure she will be the one to please to see you. The lady is saying that no one visits Mrs. Macpherson, so Mrs. Macpherson will be happy to see the writer. She took me into the conservatory. The lady took the writer to conservatory with wicker chains and potted plants all around and left. One old lady was sitting in a wheelchair. Her hands were folded in her lap. She had a silver white hair pinned into a wispy bun. She was gazing out the garden. She was looking at the garden. The writer said, hello. She turned and looked up at the writer vacantly. Happy Christmas, Connie, I went on. The writer is saying, Happy Christmas, Connie. I found this. I think it's yours. The writer is saying, I found this. I think this is yours. As I was speaking, her eyes never left my face. He opened the tin box and gave it to her. That was the moment her eyes lit up. She was happy. recognition. Her face became suffused with a sudden glow of happiness. Suffused means glow of happiness spread all over her face. The writer explained about the desk, about how he had found, but I don't think she was listening. The lady wasn't listening. For a while, Mrs. Macpherson doesn't said anything, but stroked the letter tenderly with her fingertips. She stroked the letter softly. Suddenly, she reached out and took my hand. Her eyes were filled with tears. Suddenly, the lady, that is Mrs. Macpherson, reached out for writer's hand and her eyes were filled with tears, and she said, "You told me you would come home by Christmas, dearest," she said, "and here you are, the best Christmas present in the world." Came closer, "Jim, dear, sit down." The writer sat beside her and she kissed my cheek. The writer saying that he sat beside her and she kissed his cheek. "I read your letter so often, Jim. Every day I wanted to hear your voice in my head." She said that I listen or read your letter so often. I wanted to hear your voice in my head. It always made me feel you were with me. She is saying it always made her feel that she was with him always. And now you are back. You can read it to me yourself. And she is saying now you are back. You can read it to yourself, to her. "Would you do that for me, Jim dear?" She is saying, "Would you do this to me? I just want to hear your voice again. I would love that so much, and that perhaps we will have some tea. I have made you a nice Christmas cake. Marzipan are all around. I know how much you love marzipan." She is saying that how much he loved marzipan. She has made a nice Christmas cake and a marzipan. Okay. The lady is thinking that the person in front of him is Jim Macpherson, her husband, but in reality he was the writer. So by mistakes she is saying him Jim. Okay, don't confuse. Now you will read this chapter.